Hey Lions fans, ready for one of those whispers that can flip a season on its head? What if I told you Detroit just cracked open a door nobody thought was still on its hinges? What if the answer to the thinnest room on the roster isn't a blockbuster trade, but a reclamation bet with real teeth? And what if the timeline isn't someday, but before you finish this coffee? Yeah, this one has that combination of speed, size, and second chances that makes G-Miz pace hallways. Here's the vibe. Another Sunday, another row of athletic tape. And suddenly corner went from plenty to please don't sneeze. Depth chart musical chairs is cute. Until the music stops and you're stuck starting a guy whose name your uncle can't pronounce. That's where we are one hamstring away from playing the Were You on the Roster Last Month? Game. So, what are we doing today? I'm going to lay out exactly why Detroit's phone lit up, how a specific profile checks all the boxes the front office loves, what the cap math looks like without torching the future, and where this move would slot inside the scheme. No spoilers yet, I know you're already trying to guess. Stay with me. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report. Smash that like. Hop in the comments if you're already connecting dots. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the updates when smoke turns into, well, something spicier. Let's talk football like adults with heart. Clear eyes, cold facts, and a little Detroit grit. All right, let's set the scene. Brad Holmes doesn't panic shop. This regime hunts value, traits, pedigree, and price point. When bodies start falling, they don't swing blindly for a headline. They go find the guy with the highest ceiling at the lowest risk, then dare the league to hate them for it. Short deals, controllable money, prove-it clauses, Detroit's version of buying a vintage muscle car that needs the right mechanic. Scheme dash-wise. You know the ask. Press when you can. Bail when you must. Tackle like your job depends on it. And don't be allergic to the run. This staff needs corners who arrive with length and leave with paint on their jersey. If you can run with burners, squeeze a sideline, and still stick your face in on toss crack, you're already halfway in the door. Now, the market. You can sign a familiar vet and hope he's not running in sand. You can poach a practice squad dog with upside. You can ransom the future for an elite name from a sinking roster. Or, and this is where my eyebrows went up, you can target a freaky athlete, first-round DNA. Misfortune magnet who looks healed, hungry, and cheap enough to fit under the couch cushions of your cap sheet. The profile is irresistible. Long levers. Burst that erases separation. Ball skills that didn't just show up in a pro day spreadsheet, but on actual tape. And yes, the medical file has chapters. But the thing about chapters? They end. When the movement looks clean again, when the testing stops raising red flags. You get in the car, you go watch with your own eyes, and you decide if the juice is finally worth the squeeze. Layer on the context. Detroit doesn't need a superhero. It needs a playable outside corner who can hold the fort while the room heals and then become matchup artillery in December. Plug and play on Sundays, not a graduate seminar in September. That means the on-ramp matters playbook install, special teams willingness, a role that protects him from living on an island against root wizards on snap one. You still with me? Good, because the dots aren't hard to connect if you followed how this front office values buying low on blue chip traits. The name floating around Allen Park quietly, but not that quietly fits every part of the silhouette we just drew. All right, time to stop dancing around it. The name is Caleb Farley, and the move on the table is Detroit bringing him in. Why him? Because when he's right, he runs like a rumor and closes like a garage door. Because the measurements aren't theory. Because the first-round tools didn't vanish. They were parked while the body got rebuilt. Because this locker room is a good place to bet on men who've had to fight for their next snap. And because the cost can be structured like a grown-up deal. Low base. Playtime escalators, per-game actives, playoff triggers. You're paying for availability, not nostalgia. Let's talk on-field fit. Press side. You get a corner who can stab a release and ride it like a wave. Offside. The plan and drive pops on deep outs and curls. The click and close is why coaches grin. Crossers? If the hips are as loose as they looked in recent sessions, he can carry with safety help shading elsewhere. Red zone? Link buys you inches that quarterbacks hate. And on the edges against the run, he's not a matador. This staff will demand shoulder pads through thighs. And he's shown it when healthy. Now the scar tissue literally and figuratively. You're not hiding from the back and knee history. You're respecting it. That means you build a ramp. Week 1 isn't 60 snaps on an island. It's sub-packages, special teams if the body tolerates it, and matchup-driven deployments while GPS, strength staff, and coaches track every sprint. If the data sings, you ratchet up. If it complains, you hold the line. You protect the player from himself and your season from hero ball. Contract mechanics are simple. You don't touch the core. You don't mortgage picks. You sign a lottery ticket with adult supervision. If you need a 53-man spot, you make the corresponding move that doesn't punch a hole elsewhere. You front-load the incentives around snaps and wins, not empty stat chasing. If he hits everything, beautiful, you're playing January football with a bargain. If he doesn't, you walk away clean. Culture check matters. This isn't a spa day franchise. This is a steel-toe organization. You buy in, or you get bought out. From the weight room to the DB room, the standard is set by guys who aren't impressed by resumes. That's a good thing for a player trying to turn the page. Fewer selfies, more installs, and the kind of film sessions that tell you the truth without a soft pillow. What about ripple effects? Snaps smooth out. Roles clarify. You can let your young studs heal without duct taping the perimeter every series. You can move a slot back to a role he actually thrives in. You can dial your fronts without calling coverages that babysit a corner who's hanging on by his fingernails. And if the move hits, suddenly matchups shift in your favor. Coordinators stop circling your CB2 in red pen. The risk? Availability. Always availability. The league is a meat grinder, and it doesn't hand out sympathy reps. If the body betrays him again, you burn time, not the franchise plan. That's the math. The reward? A rare athlete at a premium position stepping into a room that needs exactly what he offers. Right now, zooming out, this is how contenders behave. Not reckless, not timid opportunistic. You stay honest about who you are, you admit what you lack, and you hunt solutions that don't make you poor in March to feel richer in October. This would be that kind of swing. Smart risk, covered downside, upside that changes Monday's so. Detroit, are you in on this kind of bet? Drop your take below. Does a Caleb Farley flyer calm you down about the outside? Or do you want the front office to chase a pricier, shinier name at the deadline? Give me the contract you'd offer, the snap count you cap him at, and the game you'd circle for his first real test. My personal opinion, I'd take the swing because the cost is sane. The fit is logical, and the upside is playoff grade, but Sim, uma speculaceo.